Welcome back to a special Face the State on the day of Ned Lamont's inauguration as Connecticut's 89th governor. We are joined today by two legislative leaders. She is the House Minority Leader, Themis, Klarides, Republican, and the House Majority Leader, Matt Ritter. And we thank you both for being here in the program. We should point out we did invite the Speaker on, and he was unavailable to join us, but we're so glad that you're with us. What did you think of the Governor's State of the State address?
I thought it was great. I mean, I thought it was full of optimism. I think he referenced his business background and why he's going to be a different kind of governor. And it's not criticizing prior governors, but he certainly brings a different perspective. I've always been struck in to know him this year, how genuinely kind he is. It's authentic. He's just a really nice person. He really listens. Like as he said, he's not afraid to say what he doesn't know, having not come from government. I think his different perspective will be helpful in the coming years. I really do.
Leader Klarides, does he strike you as more friendly than the previous governor?
Well, listen, we all have different personalities and we all have different ways of approaching things. I think that his personality, as Matt mentioned, is more engaging and it's a little bit warmer. I think his perspective from a business and financial background gives him a better grasp of how to look at the problems we have and how to fix them.
He's reached out to you and other Republicans. Do you think that there will be a better relationship with this governor than there was with the previous one?
On opening day 8 years ago, we had a lot of hope that the relationship with the former governor would be good. We had our ups and downs. I think that we have hope today. I believe that things will move forward in a positive way until I don't.
You know, he's talking about transportation, overhauling the transportation system in our state. And one of the things that he has talked about, didn't mention it in this speech, is tolls just for trucks only. There are some Democrats in your caucus who want tolls for all vehicles. Which do you support?
I think we got to have a public hearing. We have a new commissioner of transportation and see what he says. But here's the bottom line. You can't invest in these types of things when the only avenue you have right now in the state to fix transportation projects is to borrow money. Think about that. We're the only state on the Eastern Seaboard who has no contribution from truck drivers or out-of-state drivers, and we pay for all of our transportation projects on a dwindling reserve fund in the transportation account or by bonding. Every dollar we send 35 cents to a bank in New York. That's not how you build fast trains. It's not how you build better, faster highways, and it's not what the people of the state of Connecticut want and business leaders want.
And this week you suggested that perhaps money should come from the busway, which you say is underused, rather than instituting tolls. Tell us how that would work.
I said what we need to look at is different avenues. One of them is fast track. I'm not saying it's not working at certain times, but there's clearly not the ridership that they believed it would be. We're paying a lot of money. We are paying, taxpayers are paying 80% of the fast track subsidies. The problem with the toll proposals we have seen in the past several years are they have been 50 to 85 tolling gantries in Connecticut, the third smallest state in the country. There has not been any comprehensive toll proposal thus far, and therefore it is because it is a revenue grab. It is another way to revenue grab because they've not been able to responsibly budget in this state.
And let me agree on one thing. I haven't seen a toll proposal that I like yet. There's been these studies done. We don't need 80 different tolling places. That's ridiculous. So I would agree with that. We have not seen the right plan yet.
He talked about revitalizing cities. Obviously, you represent Hartford. What needs to be done?
Well, I mean, Hartford came a long way, and Governor Malloy deserves a lot of credit for that. It really started when he started CERTA, the Capital Region Development Authority, which has built 2,000 units downtown, all occupied, all rented. He's changing the face of Hartford. I think we should replicate that model in New Haven and Bridgeport as well. I was telling Mayor Harp that today from New Haven. It's worked really well. So you have to have livable, fun cities for people to go. Look, we're never going to have New York or Boston. We're not going to have a city of 9 million people or something crazy like that. But we can do more than we've done. And I think that's one of Governor Malloy's greatest legacies, what he did for Hartford.
Millennials want to live in cities. They don't want to drive. They want good transportation. Is that something Republicans can get on board with in this administration?
There's no question. I think that is not a partisan issue. That's not a partisan need. But once again, the issue is how do we fund it? You know, how do we get the money? Just putting money after money to the city of Hartford because we happen to be using that as an example has not borne fruit at this point. I think there are many ways we can look at to build up our cities and do it in a way that people will want to live there, particularly millennials coming up. But throwing money after money is not helping.
Can I seize on one thing that the governor said today that I thought was really interesting about the business community involvement? Hartford would never have avoided bankruptcy if it weren't for three companies, the Aetna, the Hartford, the Travelers, stepping up. It was that $10 million contribution for 5 years, each year. It was the editorials. They were very clear. This cannot happen. That turned minds, it shaped opinions up here. You need business leaders to step up. They say, we employ everybody who lives in all these ring towns. We don't want this city to go bankrupt. That was a critical piece.
No question, you both Connecticut natives, love Connecticut. As you watch the pomp and circumstance and all the history of this past week, what went through your mind?
Listen, I even on the days that you say to yourself, why do I do this? Because there's craziness and things aren't going your way and you're frustrated. This is a job that most people don't ever have the honor to have, and to be able to help people in your towns and your state is something that you will take with you the rest of your life, and is something that is just an honor and a privilege.
If opening day doesn't give you goosebumps, then you're in the wrong business. It's a special day, it really is.
And speaking of history, your dad was there, former speaker.
It was nice to have him there, yeah, and he continues to wait for me to drive him home, so we carpooled here together, so.
Good to see you both. Themis, Klarides, and Matt Ritter. Best of luck in the session. It's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
When we come back, we'll get some other perspective on the big inauguration of our 89th governor, Ned Lamont, and welcome your comments right now on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.